Hello and welcome to my Wartales Archer class guide. I'm a host, Methfu. So if this guide managed to help you out even a tiny little bit, please smash that like button. It'll be greatly appreciated. So in this guide, we are going to be going over the best skills, equipment, and class to use as the Archer. Okay, so super quick breakdown of the Archer. So they are the only pure range damage class in the game, which means they can shoot from far away safely. The Archer is also one of the highest sustained damage dealers in the game. They can put a ton of damage during a round of combat. They also have a lot of bows to match different situations. So if you want to make them more bursty, you can pick a bow for that. If you want to do a bit more area of effect damage, you can pick a bow as well for that. If you want to do some more dot damage, you can pick a bow for that. There's so many different bows you can choose from, lots and lots of options. Right, so moving on to the build for the Archer. So I've respected a fresh Archer to show you the path I take down the skill tree. I'll also be going over all the other skills and let you know why I didn't like them compared to the ones I chose and what I think of them in general. Okay, so first up in the level 2 tier, we have Valorous Audacity. Every time this unit ends their turn next to an enemy and is not engaged in combat, you gain 1 valor point. Okay, so as I've mentioned previously in my other guides, I'm really not a big fan of this as a valor point generation skill. It makes you extremely unsafe and even more unsafe on the Archer. The last place you want to be as the Archer is next to an enemy in melee range. You want to keep your distance as much as possible, so this one is a massive no-go. Do not take this. Next in line is Valorous Victory. Every time this unit kills an enemy, you gain 1 valor point. So the Archer has great sustained damage, but when it comes to actually finishing off targets, he is not so great at that. So this is a bit hit and miss when it comes to the Archer because you're not guaranteed to be able to get your valor point back from killing things. So I wouldn't take this at all. Last in the level 2 list is Valorous Support. Every time this unit ends their turn next to an ally and is not engaged in combat, you gain 1 valor point. Okay, so I feel like this is the best valor point generation skill for the Archer. He has ranged damage. That means he can shoot from pretty much anywhere he wants to. So that means he can be anywhere he wants to as well. He doesn't have to go in melee range to be able to hit something. He can actually stand with his allies or behind them and use them as a wall for him, so it makes sure no one engages him. So this is actually perfect for the Archer. Best one to take, hands down. On to level 3 and the classes. So first up we have Recall Shot for the Hunter. 1 valor point, deals 34 to 54 damage to the target. Knocks them back by 2 meters and applies slowdown for 1 round. 10 meter shot radius. Vigilance cannot be used if this unit is engaged in combat. Knockback. The target is forcibly moved backwards. Slowdown. Movement reduced by half. Okay, so I really like Recall Shot in the early game when you have barely any crowd control in your team and you need to kind of like CC the enemy to make sure they don't bust your face in. This is really, really good in the early game. Later on though, towards the mid and late game, it isn't as necessary anymore because you get better weapons, you get more CC, everyone gets a bit more skills as well they can use, more crowd control, you get like a spear wall for your spearmen. So yeah, in the end it's not as great as it was at the beginning. I would say not to take this at all because it literally is only good in the early game pretty much when you have barely any valor points. Later on it just becomes a bit redundant. Over to Beastmaster, they get attack. 1 valor point cost. All allied animals next to the target attack them with an attack of opportunity. Melee, range 12 meters. So the skill is pretty decent if you have a lot of animals in your team. If you don't have around 2 to 3 animals, it's not so decent anymore. Because obviously the more animals you have, the more you're getting value out of this. So if you only have 1 animal, it's not really worth taking so much. If you have 2 animals, it's a lot more value in that already, just because you're attacking twice there. And you have 3 animals, and as you can see, every time you have 3 or 4 or more animals, it gets more and more value for it. So yeah, it's fairly strong if you're using a lot of animals, but if you're not, then do not take it. Last but never least, we have Infantryman. They get Barrage, 2 valor point cost, targets a specific area, performs an attack of opportunity against the 3 first enemies crossing the area, 9 meter radius. Vigilance cannot be used if this unit is engaged in combat. Targeting. This unit is readying a skill. They cannot start any other action or become engaged in combat. Okay, so I think this is the best skill or best active you can use on the Archer, full stop. You can literally do about 4 attacks in 1 turn using this. So you get your first basic attack that you can use on something from range. Then if you position this correctly, you get another 3 more attacks. That is a massive amount of damage. That's 4 attacks in pretty much 1 turn. Insane ability. So for the basis of this guide, we have taken Infantryman for the Barrage. As I said earlier, it's amazing. They also get light armor as well as all the other classes. Light armor is really good. It gives you movement, it gives you critical hit, it gives you fairly good armor. Most of the time you're not going to be hit anyway, so it doesn't really make much of a difference. So this is great to have on the archer. Level 5 skills, starting with reinforced arrows. Each time this unit lands a critical hit, applies bleeding. Bleeding, target loses 20% of their max health at the end of their turn. So I'm not the biggest fan of this passive at all. In the early game, you will not have enough crit to even activate this every time. So you're losing out on having an ability. You get this around the mid game, and towards the mid game, a lot of your allies will have abilities that can apply bleeding quite easily, and they don't stack. So in other words, if they could stack, say for example, you can get like 20, 40, 60% or bleeding each turn or something ridiculous like that. So then yes, this would be great to take. But towards the mid game, loads of people can apply it, and you can only have 1 bleed per target. Not much point taking it at all. Completely redundant. Beast Mastery. Animals can be controlled in battle. So what this means is, normally when you have an animal in your party, you cannot control them at all. They kind of do what they want. They'll literally go wherever they want, bite whoever they want, scratch whoever they want. With this passive, you control the animal. You can make sure you tell it where to go. You can make sure you tell it who to attack. Make sure it's in the right position. This is a really, really powerful passive for the archer if you're using a lot of animals and you don't want to use a bacon collar instead to be able to control it. Really, really good, really strong if you're using animals. It's like night and day. Last in the level 5 skills, we have Precision. Every 2 attacks applies vulnerability. Attacks executed 0. Vulnerability. The next attack suffered will be a critical hit. Ignore the Fury thing. That's a bug once again, and that shouldn't even be there. That's like the upgraded kind of form of it. Just ignore it. Pretend it was never there. So out of all the level 5 skills, I like Precision the best. It synergizes really well with the archer. He has a lot of weapons that only activate when they critically hit. On top of that, you can easily activate this for barrage. You attack around 4 times in a round, which is pretty insane. That means you can do this at least twice a round. Really, really strong, solid passive on the archer. So we're in the last tier, level 8. Taming Arrow. Applies Fury to the targeted animal. 10 meter shot. Fury. Damage of the next attack increased by 50%. Okay, so I don't really like this skill at all. The only thing I like about it is that it doesn't cost a valor point. That's actually really strong that it doesn't cost a valor point. But it doesn't do enough. The animals hit fairly hard, but not hard enough to kind of increase their damage by 50%. It's not going to make a big difference in a battle at all. It just doesn't have enough impact. Over to Animal Affinity. At the start of the battle, gains 1 allied animal passive skill. So there are a lot of great animal passives for the archer. The only problem is that there are a lot of bad ones as well. You can't choose what you're going to get. If you could choose, this would be a lot stronger. But because it's very random, I do not like random passives or random abilities. It's a big no for me. Last on the list is Thrill of the Hunt. Each attack executed at a distance of more than 8 meters grants 1 rage. Rage, damage increased by 5%. Stackable. Thrill of the Hunt is my favorite level 8 skill. It's so strong. It's actually really insane on the archer, especially when you take barrage as well. If you take barrage, you're doing about 4 attacks per round. That's 4 rage every single round if you position correctly. That means you're doing 20% damage on that first round. The next round you're doing 40% damage. Next round you're doing about 60% damage. You can get these rage stacks really quickly. I've had battles where I've had up to 12, 16, 18 rage. Really powerful. Once you get to that kind of stage of rage, you can literally just one-shot things without crits. It makes it like the archer's firing a bazooka at them, not arrows. It just becomes really crazy once you get those stacks up. Really strong passive. Okay, so on to upgrades. We have Barrage. Targets a specific area, performs an attack or opportunity against the 4 first enemies crossing the area. So instead of having 3, it's now 4. So my favorite skill just got even stronger. So instead of being able to attack 4 things in a round, now I'm attacking 5 things in a round. Really powerful, great upgrade. It makes the skill even more powerful than it was before. Precision. Every 2 attacks applies vulnerability and gains Fury. Fury. Damage of the next attack increased by 50%. So that's the upgrade there. So in other words, every 2 attacks, I now also get Fury. So it means I'm doing a lot more damage. It's just kind of icing on the cake at this point. This ability is already pretty good. And with this, it's just doing even more damage. It's great. Thrill of the Hunt. Each attack executed at a distance of more than 6 meters grants 2 rage. So in other words, you don't have to be 8 meters away anymore. You can be 6 meters away. which opens up a lot more possibilities. You don't need to watch your positioning so much. You can kind of fire and forget about it. And that's not all. It also gives you now 2 rage each time you attack. So say for example, I'm using 4 attacks a round. That means I'm getting about 8 rage a round. Now if I'm using 5 attacks a round, that's 10 rage a round. It means you're literally just going into bazooka form even faster than normal. So by the second round, you're literally just one-shotting stuff with normal attack straight away. Attack. 1 valor point. All allied animals next to the target gain fury and strike it with an attack opportunity. So the upgrade there is the fury part. So fury, damage of the next attack increased by 50%. As I said earlier, 50% damage on the animal companion isn't a lot, to be fair, because they don't do massive amounts of damage. So it increases it a tiny bit. It makes this skill a lot better, but it really depends once again on how many animal companions you have in your team to how powerful this can be. Beast Mastery. Animals can be controlled in battle. At the end of their turn, heals allied animals for 5% of their maximum health. Once again, it really depends on how many animals you have. On top of that, it also depends on which animals you take. Say for example, you take a bear, this is going to have a lot of value on it. Because the bear has such a great amount of health, this is literally healing almost a whole attack on him. It's very strong depending which animals you take. Very solid upgrade. Animal Affinity. At the start of the battle, gains 2 allied animal passive skills. So this makes it a lot less RNG, as in random number generator. Most animals don't have that many passives to choose from, so you're most likely going to get 1 good one and possibly 1 bad one or 2 good ones. So it makes it a lot more viable to use this, and some of the passives, as I said before, are very strong, so it's a great upgrade. Okay, Recall Shot, 1 valor point cost, deals 39 to 59 damage to the target, knocks them back by 3 meters and applies slowdown for 2 rounds. So I feel like this upgrade doesn't really do much to the skill already. The skill is pretty good in the early game, as I said, but late game and mid game, it kind of falls off quite a lot. This upgrade doesn't really do much to kind of help that. The extra meter is nice to have, the extra round is nice to have as well, but in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really do much at all. Taming Arrow applies fury and riposte to the targeted animal. Riposte. The next time this unit is attacked by the engaged opponent, they parry with an attack of opportunity, cancelled if the unit moves. So the Taming Arrow upgrade is actually quite a big upgrade for this skill. The skill is not very good in general, but this actually makes it quite strong. It makes the animal able to attack a lot more. So in other words, most animals can't avoid being engaged on as much as a mercenary can, or human. So this makes it so the animal is actually doing a bit more damage during a round, during combat, when they get engaged on, which is going to be pretty likely to happen. Reinforced Arrows. Every time this unit lands a critical hit, they apply bleeding. Critical damage increased by 35%. That's the part that's upgraded. So that critical damage increase by 35% is actually a really big increase. The archer towards the late or mid game has a fairly high critical hit chance already. So that makes it really strong to have this. So in other words, every single crit you're doing an extra 35% more damage. Very strong upgrade. It makes this skill definitely worth taking once it's upgraded. Okay, so moving on to the best skills to take at the start of the game as a new archer or later on in the game with a skill book. We have First Aid, 1 valor point cost, heals an ally for 10% of their max health, and removes all applications of poison, bleeding, and burning. So the thing that makes First Aid so great on the archer is that they can be everywhere. They don't need to walk into melee range to hit anything. They can stand wherever they want most of the time, be able to hit from far away, and walk up to someone afterwards and heal them up. Really strong, solid skill book to take on the archer. Next we have Run, 1 valor point. Disengages and moves in a straight line up to 5 meters between units. 5 meter movement. So the thing about Run is, if you mess up and get engaged on, this allows you to get the hell away. On top of that, it allows you to get in range of things as well. Say for example, an enemy is slightly out of range, you can use this to get close to them. So it kind of doubles as a disengage, a defensive ability, and also it can be quite offensive as well. It's literally a hybrid. So I had a feeling that you guys most likely asked me about aim and what I think of it. So aim, 1 valor point, gains deafness. Deafness, range of the next attack is doubled and precision is enhanced. So the thing about this skill is I'm not a great fan of it. The range of the next attack is doubled. Fair enough. It costs 1 valor point as well. That's very heavy for doubling range. With Run, I can kind of get into range anyway to do that. On top of that, Run is kind of like, as I said, like a hybrid. I can use that to escape if I messed up, and I can use it to engage as well and attack something. Whereas Deafness, I can only do one thing. Also, having the precision enhanced, I don't think I've ever seen my archer miss. I don't think I've ever seen a miss on my archer ever. So that precision being enhanced is kind of null and void to me. It doesn't make a difference at all. So yeah, I can see some arguments for people taking this, maybe in the early game. But I feel like it's better to have the run in the early game anyway, just in case something engages on you, you can't get away as the archer. You have less abilities to be able to taunt things off. You have less abilities to be able to disengage. So I feel like run is superior to aim, but obviously you can have all of them if you want to. But I feel like at the beginning, run and first aid are better than aim. Right, so this is a little battle to show how to play as the infantry man, also to show his power and show how strong he can be when he's built correctly and in a team that supports him to his fullest. So we're against a ghost pack here. So we've got ghost balls, ghost wolves, ghost boar over here. So we're going to start with the pike man. I'm going to walk up and throw a nice little spear at his face to slow him down and knock him back. There we go. See you later. Reposition this here. Put out a spear wall to protect everyone else. Get the valor point back. And Fury and Riposte is up and ready to go. Okay, so our next challenger is this ghost boar here. Let's go run up to our tank, which is the fighter. We're not really fussed about him doing that, so I'm just going to position the infantry man behind the harpoon man for the best friend buff and the brutality buff, which gives us 35% more damage. And then put a barrage facing, I think, this way. Covers most places. And end turn. So barrage has been set up. Should walk straight into it. Yep. Bam! Okay, they've got a crit there. 155. That's pretty damn strong. As you can see, he did barely any damage to our fighter at all. He literally was just like, what the hell was that? Mosquito? A mosquito? Okay, so let's have a look. What can we do? What can we do now? I think we should set up the harpoon guy to protect the infantry man a bit better. So I'm going to put him there, slightly to the right. And kind of face his spear wall facing this way. Get a valor point back for that as well. So anything that runs in that the archer doesn't kill, which it does kill anyway, will be caught by the harpoon guy that's protecting him. Okay. Let's go for a little stab on this as well. Might as well finish it off. Walk over here just in case anything comes from behind onto our infantry man. Oh! Don't know what happened there. I think kind of must have like glitched out, kind of teleported, but it's all cool because it's dead. It is dead. Right, so I think I'll be pulling you back now as well. I'll pull you back. Wait, I'll leave you to last, just in case. It's been a smasher to here. Oh, random teleporting ghost boar. Damn. Okay, it hit me. I think that must have been a bug. Because normally if I could see it, I would have hit it already. So I wouldn't actually have to worry about it too much. So let's pull the berserker over here. It definitely was a bug there. It teleported onto me pretty much. And turn. Oh. My god. You see what I mean? It literally just does so much damage, this guy. It's insane. I used to think they were really, really, really goddamn weak. Like, I remember during my first playthrough, I was just like, nah, I'm not using one of these. They're so rubbish. But once he gets a bit more levels and stuff, he gets really strong. As you see, I've got 8 stacks of rage already. So my damage is getting really out of hand, even at the beginning of the battle. So by the end of the battle, I'll probably have around 20 or 22 stacks, I'm guessing. Just because there's so many mobs to hit, and the barrage will hit everything. It's just crazy. Absolutely insane. Right, who hasn't had a turn yet? The assassin. Yeah, we'll do that. I think if I just move there, I'll throw that at it. What? I didn't finish it? What? Since when? That always finishes stuff. Okay. Didn't want to get too close because I knew I was going to kill it anyway. But it's all cool. Let's move back. What is going on with this? I think it might have bugged out slightly. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I think another bug just happened. It's saying I'm about to attack everyone, but I'm not. That's going to end my turn. Still in early access, so it's all cool. It's all good. Early access is the way to go. So your turn's going to end it without moving. Ooh, my relationship has improved. Okay, so now we have a massive host of wolves and boars. Look at this. It's like an army of them. Is any up here? No. Oh my god. Okay, so we need to grab our infantry man and send him all the way down here. So we put him there. I'm putting our barrage up. Probably about here. Should be able to hit everything then. Okay, we're good to go. So they get loads and loads of turns. I kind of fear for our pikeman's life. It seems to be all going round for some reason. I have no idea why. But here we go. First victim. Boom. Okay, as you can see, another 2 rage gained. So crazy. Oh, I stole that kill. I actually completely stole that with the pikeman. Damn it. I think I'm going to let them come up, actually. Let's reposition myself here with another spear wall facing that way. Yeah. Just so I can, like, show off the barrage a bit. Because if I knock them back or slow them down, they're not going to come up. There we go. Oh, my God. Almost outright killed it. Almost outright killed it. Okay, so our other harpoon man, I think we'll bring him down as well. To... think about there. We'll put another spear wall down facing this way. Okay, so he's covering the rear, so to speak. Just in case we get any flanks coming in. Bam! Another headshot. Another headshot. Okay. Let's grab you and move you back as well. So we're going to try and guard the side here just in case I get around this. So we're kind of like protecting him and everyone else as well. With our tank. And I end my turn. Okay, another. Another! The rage is unending. Right, so we've got the assassin. Let's just take him really quickly. Move that there. Finish it off for a throw. Bam. And move back again into formation. This is going to go straight. I might try and position that slightly there just in case. It's going to go straight towards me now. I've run out of barrages. But the pikeman stopped him in his tracks. Okay, here I'm going to buff everyone up with brutality. Okay. I can't even move actually, so I don't know what I'm on about. I was going to say I was going to leave him there, but I don't really have much choice anyway because he's stuck. He's sandwiched in. Okay, yeah, we've got some stragglers in the back. Who hasn't had a turn? You, but I think you're sandwiched in as well. No, you're not. But you can't throw anything, so I'll just leave you there. As you can see, with the infantry man or the archer, you can literally just let them come to you more rather than chase them, which is nice to have that kind of option or utility. Because at the moment, I can literally just end my character's turn, so I don't really care that much. So I know... Ooh, a nightmare just appeared. I know they're going to die anyway. So we've got another group here. I can only see that one. There might be one over here as well, possibly. So let's use our infantry man again. That's what let's put out its misery. Bam! And we'll set up another barrage. Facing that way, yeah. Should be good. Should be good. Boom! Another one bites the dust. Dun, 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 dun. Another? Nope. Come on, don't be scared. Don't be shy. There we go. So now I'm up to enough damage to one-shot the pig without critting it. The balls. Whereas before I couldn't. So my stacks are on 20. I'm on 20 rage now. I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, 20 rage. So I'm literally doing so much damage. I'm not really that fussed about this. I don't think it can reach me yet. No, it can't. Just going to reposition this on the side here. On the flank. Just there. I might try and get my berserker out as well. Ready to kind of one-shot that nightmare. When it comes. Okay. Smasher. Let's put the smasher over this way. I don't think we're going to need him during the battle. He's normally good on like armored mobs or enemies. Whereas these have no armor. They're mostly like HP. So the berserker. I'll move the berserker out to there. I think I should be out of range of that. Yeah. Yep. Now pig down. We're having bacon tonight. Okay. So that barrages. So I think what we'll do is we'll grab the assassin. We will sneak it up. A bit more. I reckon I can get a throwing knife off here. Oh my god, now I one-shot it. Damn it. I wanted a throwing knife so I could get back again. Right. He's out on his own. Out on the limb. I can run up and support him. Do I need to, though? Yeah. So I'm going to run up to here. I'll knock this one back. And then just double check the pathing. Yeah, okay. If we position it like that, it should be able to defend the assassin. I get my point back as well. Right, who hasn't had a turn? You, chosen one. One shot it, please. Okay, close enough. We got a point back anyway. Let's run this back into the group. Right. And you haven't had a turn yet. I think I'll literally just use... Wait, I'm moving position. I teleported again. Use the galvanized troops, get all my valor points back. Then I will stand here. Put another spear wall facing that way just in case. Oh, he's trying to walk past me. Sneaky. Very sneaky. Okay, Binding Terror's gone out. So I need to make sure they touch each other. That did a lot of HP on me. HP damage. Right, so I think the first thing I should do is... Ooh, a Ghost Wolf. Try and kill it. If I move close to the pikeman, I get a bit of more of a damage buff from best friends. Should be enough. Or not. Okay, let's position that like this. So if he moves, they get shot. Yep. Now I do good damage. Now. Okay. So Spearman's going to block the Nightmare if it comes close. I'm going to move this over here. Throw a bleed at this. Wait, I shouldn't be able to one-shot it. Pretty sure. Okay, thank God for that. That can run back. I get a bit of damage off as well. To break this curse. The curse! Okay. I think we're still good. I'll move the Berserk a bit closer, ready for the Nightmare, so I can unleash all my damage on it. I haven't used the Berserker's passive yet. Where is it? Recklessness. The first skill used in each fight deals 150% extra damage, so I'll be using that on the Nightmare when it comes closer. Okay. Move the Smasher over here as well. Move this over here. And the Fighter. Okay, here we go. Boom! More rage. More rage. Okay. It's getting closer. I'll move this back again. And do that. Who hasn't had a turn? You. So we're going to put you right in front there. And put down another spear wall. Here we goes. Oh, big hit, big hit. Oh, another. And it's out of there. See? So strong. Literally just killed it instantly. 2 shots. Right, so equipment time. I'm using the war bow. Dexterity plus 26, critical hit plus 10%. I'm using the sharpening oil on it. I feel like sharpening oil is the best one to use in the archer and nearly every single weapon because it increases his already impressive critical hit chance. As you can see there on the screen, it's around 41%, which means I'm hitting a crit nearly every other attack. Very powerful, very, very strong. The warbow has the skill Volley of Arrows, deals 15 to 41 damage to the target. Critical hit attacks a second time. 10-meter shot radius. Critical hit triggered if this ability lands a critical hit. vigilance cannot be used if this unit is engaged in combat. Okay, so I think this skill is very strong for burst damage. Most of the time, you're going to be able to get a critical hit either through passives or with your already high critical hit chance. So this skill is just doing extra damage all the time. Very, very strong burst. The other bow I like to use is the Indomitable one. Dexterity plus 35, critical hit 10%. Once again from the sharpening oil, which is the best oil you can use on nearly any of the bows. Really, really strong. The skill it gets is called Piercing Arrow. Deals 30 damage to all the units in the area. Critical hit, the target is knocked back by 2 meters and loses 10% of their maximum health. Critical hit triggered if this ability lands a critical hit 10 meter area. The thing I love about this bow and about the skill that it uses, Piercing Arrow, is that you can hit multiple enemies with it. It's like area of effect damage. You're just literally hitting everything in the line. On top of that, if any of those targets get critted by that line attack shot that hits them, that means they're also losing another 10% of their maximum health. Very, very strong bow, very powerful for solid sustained area effect damage. So the belt accessory I'm using is Light Feathers, range +1. So this allows me to make a bit more plays, allows me to play a bit more safer as well in the back, and also allows my barrage to hit further away. So it means it has a bit more radius on it. It means I don't have to like be so strategic and so precise with it to make sure I hit everyone I can in that round. It means I can kind of just put it down and just let it kind of do its thing. I'm using the Light Armor Hunter's Cloak. Movement +2, critical hit 6%, armor 57, dexterity +2, and that's from the reinforced layer of the Falcon, which gives the extra 2% critical hit and the extra 2 dex. Reinforced layer of the Falcon, dexterity +2, critical hit +2%. So this is the best layer that you use on the Hunter at this moment in time. Maybe in future patches or when the game gets released, this may change. But for now, this is the best layer you can use in your armor, full stop. Moving on to the best professions to take as the Archer. So I have Alchemist in my Archer. It gives me +3 dexterity, which is my main stat. It means I'm doing more damage with my bow. The other two I'd pick as well on the Archer is Tinkerer for the critical hit chance, and the Thief as well for the dexterity and the critical hit once again. I'm not a big fan of Scholar, as I said before in previous guides. I'll say it again, I'll say it even more times. Willpower is not a very good stat at all. It doesn't really do enough. Scholar is nice to have, but put it on someone else that doesn't need to do as much damage. Same as Angler. I don't actually have an Angler on my team at all. I did like one quest with an Angler and that was kind of it, and I got rid of it after that. I prefer the actual kind of raw damage stats rather than having a tiny bit of weird willpower. It doesn't really do much. As I said about Tinkerer, really, really good, really strong. Get around 5% critical hit chance. Allows you to do more critical hits. Archers need a lot of critical hit chance to be able to function. Cooking, you don't really need so much because you are a ranged attacker. So yeah, you don't really need Constitution at all. Maybe from other enemy archers. But most of the time, they're going to die pretty fast because they'll be high priority on your kill list. Thief, as I said earlier, dexterity and crit is amazing on the Archer. Critical hit chance and your main stat is dexterity. Incredible. Blacksmithing is completely useless. You don't really need the strength at all because it's not your main stat. And mine are the same thing as well. You don't really need the Constitution unless it's from enemy archers. And you don't really need the extra strength or anything like that. So yeah, the best ones to pick are literally the Thief, the Tinkerer, and the Alchemist, depending on what you fancy. Okay, so here's my final build for the Infantryman. So Valorous Support is the best Valor Point generation skill, or passive should I say, that you can take on the Archer. You're always at range, you're always near your allies, they're always going to be protecting you, you're always getting value out of this straight away. Next we have Barrage. So as I said about Barrage earlier, this is so much value. I'm all about the value once again. You can hit up to 4 enemies plus your main attack. That is 5 attacks a round. Really solid, really powerful. You're doing so much sustained damage to everything. Crazy active. Then we have Precision. So this is kind of like icing on the cake. This tier is not actually that great anyway. There isn't that many great abilities in here. Obviously, if you have an animal, take the Beast Mastery because you kind of need it. But if you don't have an animal, then you might as well just take Precision. It gives you a guaranteed critical hit. As I said earlier, most of the bows, they all work on critical hits in some way or another. Some of them don't, some of them will. I mean, at least I say 70%, 80% of them do rely on critical hits to make them function. So this is nice because it's almost guaranteed. And you also get an extra damage boost on top of your already impressive damage. Then at level 8, we have Thrill of the Hunt. This is insane. I feel like this is the best passive or even the best skill on the Archer in general. This is crazy. I think this might even get nerfed at some point. The amount of rage stacks you can get and the amount of damage you can do, as I said earlier, it's like you're shooting a bazooka at some point. By round 2, you're literally shooting a big bazooka. You're not shooting arrows anymore. This is how strong it gets. It's really, really powerful. Starts one-shotting stuff. Very strong. This is literally what makes the archer so powerful, just the skill alone. So I thought to myself, I'll do a little bonus with the animal companions. So I feel like the best animal companion, in my opinion, is the bear. The bear brings so much to the table. It brings insane amounts of health. You can make this your main tank. Nothing's taken out of the bear unless it's bleeding, poisons, or fire. They're the only weaknesses of the bear pretty much. Everything else will just bounce off him. Especially when you have like stuff like this, the infused collar. At the end of their turn, this unit heals 10% of their maximum health. Coupled with some of the archers like healing stuff as well. That's 15% every single round. That means your bear is pretty much unkillable unless you get loads of bleeds, burning, and poison effects on him. So have a look at the skill build here. So we have a choice between Cozy Pelt. Any companion spending the rest next to this unit generates +1 extra valor points. Limited to 1 companion per bear. The thing about this is I don't really run out of valor points at all. I'm quite conservative when I play, and if I do need to blow my whole load, I'll be able to get those valor points back in no time anyway, so there's no point in even taking this, maybe at the beginning of the game when you're really low in valor points, but otherwise it's just really redundant, no point at all. And we've got Intimidating Growl, which is one I've taken, which is 1 valor point cost, forces the target to engage and applies fragility to them for 1 round. Fragility, damage taken increased by 30%, so this makes the bear hit a lot harder. It makes everyone hit a lot harder on the target as well. Really, really strong debuff. And it's also way better than the other skill you have to choose from. And it's also a taunt. So you can use this to taunt enemies off your allies that do not want to be engaged. At level 5, we have King of the Forest. If starting a battle in a forest, this unit has Galvanization. Galvanization, damage increased by 50%. Forests are pretty much everywhere in this game. I feel like at least 60% of my battles have been in forests. So what this means is your bear is doing an extra 50% damage in over half the battles. Really, really great passive. Then we have Master Fisher. You have a chance to catch fish while walking near bodies of water. We all know how I feel about fishing. I do not like anglers at all, the profession, and I don't see the point in this either. Once you get to mid to late game, you have enough gold. As you can probably see in the top right corner, I have a lot of gold. I do not need my bear to be fishing because I can buy whatever I want food-wise and cook it and sustain it. So you have no need for this passive at all. Strength and Constitution increased by 10%. So as you can see, my strength is very measly, 55. The Constitution though is 184. So yes, for Constitution, this will give you more HP, but as I said already, the bear does not really die. Unless he has dot effects on him, bleeding, poison, and burning, like I said earlier, he's not going to die to most things unless you're really, really, really careless with him. But yeah, so this isn't that great because you don't really need even more HP on your already impressive HP because the strength isn't high enough to really affect it that much. Then we have Feral Vitality. This unit's attacks of opportunity ignore the guard. So if we have a quick look at the bear's skills, we have Monstrous Swipe. Deals 39 to 50 damage to the target. If already engaged in combat, this unit gains Relentless. Relentless after attacking, this unit executes an attack of opportunity. Removed if no longer engaged in combat. So what this means is the bear will get attack opportunity if it's already engaged after hitting once already. And we have this Feral Vitality. This unit's attacks of opportunity ignore the guards. That means I'm going straight through. The guard means nothing to me, and bears will attack opportunity nearly all the time because of this skill here, the Monstrous Swipe. Then over here we have a passive Wild Tenacity. When this unit should die, it gains Berserk and survives. If it already has Berserk, it dies. Berserk, damage and damage taken increased by 100%. So even if you throw your bear into the enemy, literally pick him up and throw him in, and everyone's just swarming him and he's trying to steal their honey, this will make sure he survives at least one kind of brutal hit. So say for example, an enemy gets a massive, massive burst hit on him and it's a critical hit, and you're like, oh crap, my bear's going to die. This will save him for at least one attack. So it depends how much you've messed up, depending how much value you'll get out of this, really. But it's strong, it's very strong. Accidents do happen. Your bear will be critically hit one time. You think, oh, he can survive another hit. And bam, he's out there. This will help him. Really strong, very strong passive. Right, so that about wraps up my best build guide for the Archer. If you have any suggestions on how to make this class even more powerful, I look forward to hearing it. I'm also covering the last class Smasher, so stay tuned for that. Like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.